Hello friends and comrades, and welcome to the Vtuber Iceberg. For those who don't know, an iceberg is a concept where on the surface all the knowledge you are going to find is well known, and the deeper you go, the more obscure and unknown that knowledge becomes. So, my little weebling, lend me your hand and let me take you on the journey through the Vtuber Iceberg. Holomyth is the first Hololive English branch. They debuted near the end of 2020 and they took the world by storm. Its members include Takanashi Kiara, Ninomiya Inanis, Amelia Watson, Gav Gura, and Mori Calliope. And these girls are one of the reasons why VTubing exploded globally. Subaru Duck is one of the most popular memes in Hololive, and the way it was created was also hilarious. Basically, Subaru had fun doing different voices, and one of the voices she did sounded like Donald Duck who had a throat disease. And people took this concept and ran with it. They bullied this girl so much, to the point where she accepts herself as one of the Holobirds. This entry talks about an incredible relationship and friendship Sea-Dog VA has with Iron Mouse. From their hilarious antics to their streams together, the community absolutely adores their interaction. Also, Sea-Dog VA has done many charities for the organizations Iron Mouse supports. And those live streams are simply amazing and you should go and watch them. An incredibly brave and controversial statement said by Gav Gura after her debut. Meaning wholesome or family friendly is the statement every VTuber exclaims every time they are going to do something lewd. Unfortunately, something that not every VTuber has. The hardest language in the world that only the most refined and the most intelligent can speak and understand. If you had a chance to discover VTubers in 2020, you are probably familiar with these legendary covers made by Fubuki. These songs represent gateways to many different people in this community. Elbow challenge was a very popular trick that many people use to measure their favorite VTuber's booba. And this is how it works. If you can touch your elbows, that means you're flat as a board. And if you can't, that means that you have a big booba. And this trick worked on so many different VTubers. You should watch some clips, they're fucking hilarious. CVID, or Common Variable Immunodeficiency, is a health condition where a person's body cannot produce enough antibodies to fight many different parasites and bacteria. That's why these people are very susceptible to infections and they can get sick very easily. Unfortunately, this is the condition Iron Mouse has fought her entire life. It left her bedridden and sick for many years. And because she was not allowed to go outside, that left her alone, without friends and anyone that she can talk to. But when she started streaming, that was her gateway into the world. And to see the person with such strong disease fight and achieve so much is truly inspiring. There is a theory that every female VTuber streamer is just a man using a voice changer. And you can actually find people who unironically think that this is true, and it's simply hilarious. This situation happened when the entire Nijisanji EN branch went on a trip. Mista and Mika basically went to town for a walk and they were approached by a lady selling flowers. She gave the flower to Mika and Mista and wanted a huge compensation for it. Yes, they basically got scammed for 2 flowers. Mista tried his best to return the money, but the woman didn't want to budge. And in the end, Mika got traumatized and Mista got pissed. Back in the day, Russian Kagai Niki wanted to send Botan a replica of AK-47 to show his appreciation. Unfortunately, she could not accept such a gift because Japan doesn't allow people to have firearms. Nonstop Not November is a hilarious trend started by our favorite squirrel, Risu. She would spend every single day, entire month, talking about different types of nuts. And that was simply hilarious. It's one of the most legendary memes. Standing together with Miko's N-word, Peko English and many different memes. Every single year, many Hololive members come together to host Mario Kart Yearly Cup, where every single branch in Hololive competes to be the best. Until now we had winners like Minato Aqua, Tokoyami Tova, and right now we have Nekomata Okayu. And in the next event we will see if somebody is strong enough to take her crown away. Back in the day before Vesper joined Holostars, he was working in a store selling electronics, and one day his boss brought a lot of laptops, television and many different computers, and he peeled off the foil from all of them and created a little plastic ball. In his words, that was the most fun he ever had in work, and he kept that plastic ball for years, reminding him that life is worth living. If you have joined any streams where Mista was near the kitchen, you know what sort of catastrophe that is. I mean, this man didn't wash his rice, left his food for months to be infested with maggots, almost poisoned the entire Niji branch, and so much more. This man should be kept at least 50 kilometers away from the nearest kitchen. And that is a fact. This next entry happened during the collab where Vesper, RPR and Axel played Apex together, and Axel proceeded to flex his dating life on RPR and our poor grandpa. In high school, he had a childhood friend, a crush and a cute stalker who would send him half-nude selfies. And you can see the chat mold also with RPR and Vesper as well. I can just imagine how many thoughts and how many violent ways of extermination have passed through RPR and Vesper's mind at the moment. And with this out of the way, it's time to move to the next tier. This is the statement said by Vshojo talent Weibe in response to comments somebody made. They said that her voice is very similar to Shy Lily, and many people said the same during her stream. And that triggered Weibe so much that she basically said that if you want to settle for less, go for it. Basically meaning if you want to watch somebody who is less worth than me, then you should go watch Shy Lily. And Lily didn't really respond to this. She basically shrugged it off and acted absolutely professional, which in the eyes of the community branded Weibe as this toxic villain. And a lot of people still bring it up even to this day. VTubing just exploded out of nowhere, and of course Pokimane wanted in on the trend. So she made her own VTuber model, but she was instantly hated for it. People who watched her mostly for her looks, so they absolutely despised the VTuber model, and the people who were deep in the rabbit hole absolutely hated her. She was the bane of existence for many different VTuber fans because in their eyes, why would somebody who streams real-life content need a VTuber model, and especially somebody as controversial as Pokimane? The hate was so huge that even her artist had to make the statement to stop the hate, but it didn't end there. In the end, she had to delete her model and never used it again. Back in the day when Gura started absolutely exploding on the internet, reaching 1 million subscribers and having an insane amount of views, there was a certain influencer called Brittany Venti who attacked her and her character, also her fanbase, because she was lolly shark VTuber, you know, all the P-word bullshit and stuff. And Gura was aware of this. And basically in her next stream, she was making fun of her by saying word lolly in many different ways during that stream. And Brittany Venti got a lot of shit. She was absolutely ratioed to hell. And that is probably the most fame she got ever, until that point. While Gura got a lot of respect from her fanbase. Pikame's graduation is a sad story that tells you what happens when Twitter mob gets involved in VTubing. Basically, she alluded that she wanted to play Hogwarts Legacy, a game that she likes because she's very attached to Harry Potter as a franchise. But unfortunately, because of the hate campaign a lot of streamers were getting at the time for playing Hogwarts Legacy, she was absolutely dogpiled on. She was harassed, she was bullied, she was hated, to the point where the poor girl wanted to graduate, and she will be graduating at the end of this month. So in these last few days she has, make sure to support her the best you can. Coco did a lot for Hololive community. She was also the main reason Hololive English exists in the first place, but after her graduation, there was a spot left for somebody to fill in. And there was 3 candidates to fill that spot. Those being Hachama, Kanata, and Ame. But for now, Ame is the only one who has actually shown the potential to inherit Coco's legacy. There is a certain website where many different fans of fauna, aka saplings, can attend and press the Ara Ara button. When pressing the button will exclaim a different Ara Ara sound. And every time a button is pressed, there will be a counter. And look at how many people actually press this button and how many times. I mean, I wanted to contribute myself, so I pressed this button 1000 times. You hear that, saplings? I am doing my part. For those who don't know, tags are really important for Twitch streamers. When you are streaming a certain type of content, you get a tag, and people can find you and your content by using that tag. So many different Twitch streamers who have nothing to do with VTubers use the VTuber tag because it was trendy and popular because they wanted to increase their own viewers. And many VTubers spoke against it, saying that this is simply not fair. Using a VTuber tag as a streamer who shows his face defeats the entire purpose of VTubing. And that escalated into a mini war between Twitch streamers and VTubers, where Twitch streamers would use a lot of insults, calling anime fans disgusting, creepy, P-word was thrown all around, and it was a shitfest. This is the trend created by the most horniest fan base in the entire Hololive community. And it was glorious. Basically, this is what happened. Ina was sick and she was taking a hiatus because of her health condition. And Takodachis didn't see her for a very long time. And when they heard that she is going to appear in the stream, they were incredibly happy. But there was one moment where one person screenshotted a very particular pose created by the EN curse, and the community exploded. There were so many fan arts of Ina's back to the point where artists who didn't even know who Ina was or who didn't even know about Hololive started drawing pictures of Ina's back. And it was beautiful, let me tell you, it was gorgeous, it was amazing. But that's not all. Because Ina got sick again and went on another vacation, the Takodachis created another movement called the Fourth Wa. Wa has many different meanings. For example, we are here, we are wholesome, we are hilarious, but the Fourth Wa always means one thing: we are horny. And the Takodachis created so many beautiful not safe for work arts of Ina. It was glorious. As a Takodachi myself, I am proud to be a part of this community. Back in the day before she joined Vshojo, Mel started on a site called Chatterbait. It's a site for cam girls, but she stole the spotlight on the entire website. She had the most donations, the most viewers watching and interacting with her, to the point where many Chatterbait girls get genuinely offended because people were watching cartoon and she's not real. She had such a huge success that it was insane. And later we know what happened. She joined Vshojo, left that industry, and she streams there now. There is a meme in underground VTuber community where people say that Annoying Orange was the first and original VTuber. A couple of months ago, Indonesia decided to ban Steam, PayPal and many other services. And this created a trouble for many different Indonesia VTubers, because they couldn't stream games, they couldn't receive donations, they couldn't do anything. And the main reason Indonesia did this was because their policy didn't really align with the policies of Steam, PayPal and many different services. But right now the situation has been resolved. Coexist is a project started by Akai Hato, aka Hachama, where she tried to create her own lore because back in the day a lot of people saw her as a girl who can speak English, and that was her own thing. But when she started acting crazy and insane and created this convoluted story of two sisters becoming one and forming this entity, it was insane to watch and incredibly entertaining. If you want to look for the lore, you can definitely find it on YouTube, because somebody probably summarized it better than I can explain it. But yeah, that's the reason we have Hachama now. It's a term used by Japanese bros to describe everyone overseas, Kagainiki literally meaning overseas bros. Depresno Sagi is one of the most important content creators when it comes to VTuber sphere, because he made some incredible videos that really benefit the VTuber community. Thanks to his knowledge and his research, many mysteries in the VTuber community were revealed to general public, but unfortunately he made one huge mistake. He revealed faces and past lives of many Hololive talents, and he got cancelled for it. In the VTuber community, there is unwritten rule: you should never discuss past lives or faces of any VTuber, because if you do, that would make you an asshole. You can allude to it or give some information, but showing faces is a sin that not many will forgive. And in the end, he decided to leave the community. Hololive Moments was one of the biggest and one of the first clipping channels ever to exist in Hololive community, and they operated from China. But unfortunately, after the Taiwan incident, they also encouraged harassment and bullying of two particular Hololive members, those being Hachama and Coco. But later they decided to focus only on Coco. And people saw how they acted and massively unsubscribed from them. At this moment they have no videos and basically have no relevance at all. I guess this is what happens when you mix politics with fun. We know that certain Vshojo members contributed to the negative reputation the whole company has today, but this drama amplified that negative reputation. So let me explain what happened. Basically, there was this doxxer who was impersonating Vshojo management, and he was trying to get information from many different indie VTubers who wanted to join the company. And Naxtaku, being somebody who is also faceless and who was almost tricked by this, tried to expose this scammer. And after he made his video, he asked Vshojo management if he was able to post this video. And the management said it was okay, and after he posted that video, the management even thanked him for his service. But certain Vshojo members like Nyaners, Weibe and Hime Hajime attacked Vox and absolutely blasted him, calling him a cloud chaser, a drama hag and many different things, and the entire community turned on Nox and tried to cancel him, and Nox came out and presented a lot of evidence. And when community saw that evidence, they turned to Vshojo asking them to present their evidence, which they had none. And this contributed to Vshojo hate we see even to this day. And the situation is truly unfortunate because these members basically burned bridges with Nox. And Nox was friends with many of them, especially with Melody. And she didn't even apologize to him after the entire situation. I mean, this situation is really bizarre. There is a popular VTuber named Sari who decided to host an art competition with a monetary prize, and anybody could join as long as you draw a picture of her. And there was this particular artist who got disqualified, and he asked Sari and also her management about the reason he was disqualified. But instead of telling him the reason, they trashed his art, they insulted him and they told him how his art was bad and how it was very not safe for work, even though Sari's model is very lewd. So he took to Twitter where he complained, and many different artists also came to express their frustration with Sari. And instead of apologizing, she basically fueled the fire, she got backlash, and now nobody remembers the situation. This is a very obscure meme that somebody made on Twitter. Basically, it's a meme about Connor or CDogVA having intercourse with Kali in the Rent-A-Girlfriend NTR scene. And Kali liked that art on Twitter, which made her fans incredibly mad. But if you are not familiar with this drama, let me explain. Basically, CDogVA stated that person who goes in Hololive doesn't need talent to succeed because the brand is so strong it will carry you forward, which basically undermined all the struggles and all of the hard work that talents need to achieve in order to even classify as a candidate to join, and the community immediately disliked him and forbid Kali to collab with him, but Kali still did it and explained that he actually didn't mean that. Basically what Connor wanted to say is that Hololive as a brand is so strong that it will carry you forward, so you don't need a talent to succeed. He didn't say that talents under Hololive management are talentless. He basically just said that brand is so strong, but the community didn't really accept that, and they were angry because Kali was defending him. The entire situation was just too much. If you have been in the anime community for quite some time, not just in the VTuber but in general anime community, you would probably notice how many people, especially in video games, such as gacha games or anime games in general, despise male characters and their entire existence. And because many people don't see VTubers as genuine people, because they see them as characters, VTuber collabing with another male VTuber or streamer is an unforgivable sin. So those VTubers who collab with males usually get cancelled, harassed, bullied, and many other things. Back in the day, Mio streamed a particular Capcom game, what she thought that she had permission for, but she didn't. So the Capcom absolutely nuked her channel to the point where she got 2 copyright strikes and needed 1 additional for her channel to be absolutely deleted. The management, Hololive management, panicked and basically deleted a bunch of videos they did not have permission for. And of course Mio was very upset and scared because her entire channel was about to be deleted, and even Sora came out and expressed her frustration from Hololive management for their incompetence. But in the end this situation actually has happy ending, because sometime later the Capcom would actually sponsor Mio. So I guess the good things do happen in the end. Senzawa is a popular VTuber that used to operate a long time ago. She is one of the ancient primordial VTubers, and back in the day she made a really cursed song. Please take a listen.
Right. Extreme noses pounces on you, ooh, you're so warm. Couldn't help but notice your balls from across the floor. Noses your Nicky Wacky till day Matilda, hee hee. Unzips your baggiest pants, oh baby, you so musky. Take me home, pet me, and make me yours, and don't forget to stuff me. See me like my widow baby, tail for your bulgy. Kisses and lickies your neck. I hope daddy likey, nuzzles and wuzzles your chest. I be getting thirsty. Hey, I got a little itch, you think you can help me? Only 7 inches long, ooh, please adopt me. Paws on your butt as I lick my lips. Ooh, punish me please. Gotta hit him with this furry shit, he don't see it coming.
This song has scared many people, and it's one of the cursed things to exist on the internet. And a lot of people love this song. Unfortunately, at this moment Senzawa is not active. She just disappeared like the entire ocean has swallowed her whole. And nobody knows where she is right now. Back in the day, during the Apex collab, there was a male voice that can be heard through Towa's microphone. Towa basically lied and said that this person was her manager. Unfortunately, nobody believed her, because why would the manager be inside of your house? And the JP community basically came to the conclusion that she has a boyfriend. She was massively disliked and unsubscribed. But instead of being angry, the overseas bros, or Kagai Nikis, decided to support her instead, and that is why Towa had such a huge English audience, especially in her comment section and in her chat as well, for a long time. So this is basically what happened here. Vox was streaming one of his ASMR boyfriend experience videos, and Reimu, who didn't know this, decided to join his stream. And Vox played it off really well. He was able to integrate her into the story and make it seem all natural. But his community, aka Kindreds, did not forgive Reimu. If you didn't know, Vox has a huge female audience that has the same parasocial attachment as the Rushia had with her audience, and this entire audience attacked Reimu. She was harassed, she was bullied, she was threatened. It was horrible. And Vox didn't really respond to this drama because he was scared. He was actually scared of his own community. But when his community turned on him, of course I'm talking about the ones who are sane, he had to come out and make a statement saying that nobody should harass his friend, and how if you harassed any one of his gen mates, then you don't deserve to be his fan. And right now the situation has been cleared, but Vox still holds that toxic fan base. The Taiwan incident is one of the biggest butterfly effects ever seen in any industry on the internet. For those who don't know, basically Coco and Hachama said the word Taiwan while reading the YouTube analytics and they get cancelled for it. And the entire situation was simply insane. It escalated to China banning Hololive, China bringing new law that basically forbids the Vtubers from being anonymous on the internet, Hololive China graduating, harassment campaigns, and so many different things that it's simply insane. If you want to hear the entire situation, I would 100% recommend watching the Depress No Sagi video on this particular subject, because he explained the situation so well from both sides, so he is your best option. And if you want to know what happened to particular members of Hololive China, then you can watch my video, it will be in the description. Amatsuka Uto is the VTuber who just exploded after the Myth debut. The main reason she exploded was because she had the same artist that Amelia Watson had, and because they had similar aesthetic, people started calling Uto the say-so sister of Ame. But there was a problem. Uto described herself as indie VTuber. For those who don't know, indie is basically somebody who works alone and doesn't have an agency behind it. But Uto actually did have an agency supporting her. It was a shadow company from China which pushed her to talk about Amelia Watson more and more. The main reason? Meta tags. Because meta tags help people to discover you on the YouTube. So if she talked about Amelia Watson, about Hololive, she was basically leeching from them and taking their viewers away. And the Japanese viewers discovered this, tried to cancel her. The Western viewers who didn't know the situation tried to defend her, until Uto came and basically confirmed the entire situation. But now when she returned, people forgave her, and she's basically streaming from time to time on Twitch. Wakter is a small agency, very infamous. Basically, there is a contract that you need to sign in order to join the agency, and when you sign this contract, this is basically a contract of exclusivity. You are not allowed to make content for any other channel. For example, if you have your own channel, you're not allowed to upload videos there anymore, unlike Hololive or any other agency who basically allows their talents to have separate channels and separate personalities. So when one member called Lila was caught streaming on her other account, they decided to punish her. And how did they punish her? Did they decide to warn her or even suspend her? No. They decided to dox her and then to sue her. And they got an intense backlash for it. They also wanted to expose another member in their agency, but they were scared of the backlash. If you want to know more, there are probably many videos on the YouTube regarding this situation. Nijisanji India is a failed project where Anycolor tried to form some sort of VTuber globalization, but they expanded to the region where basically nobody has even heard of anime or VTubers in general. So they debuted 3 members without even realizing what they did. And nobody cared about them except for Nor, because she had the coolest model, speaked both English and Japanese, and she was very familiar with the culture. But in the end, all of 3 talents had to graduate. Of course, first 2 talents nobody even showed up for their graduation, while Nor had huge audience to support her when she left. This happened after they debuted their first English branch. Back in the day, Mel had a stalker, and this stalker had a lot of access to her information, for example, her phone number and her email addresses. And he sexually harassed her for a very long time. And the worst part is when the Hololive decided to do an investigation on this situation, they discovered that the person who was harassing and stalking her was actually her manager. And they later apologized for not taking precautions to stop this from happening. You can just see how incompetent Hololive was 2 years ago. But fortunately for us, they improved. Basically, from what I remember, there was a certain male idol that goes around and sleeps with many different women, while also cheating on his wife, and apparently he made many women pregnant. Here comes Narukami Sabaki, the most infamous VTuber drama channel, and says the main reason why Kizuna Ai is not uploading content is because she's getting an abortion because she was sleeping with this dude. And she got pregnant from it. Which is not true in the slightest. Later he retracted his statement and said that actually Kaguya Luna was the one who was pregnant. And both Luna and Kizuna came out and blasted him from spreading false information. When VTubing started exploding as a concept, there were these weird fake VTubers that started appearing out of nowhere. This type of VTubers would basically be shilling political messages, hating anime fans, calling them P-words for liking Gavgura and other quote-unquote loli VTubers. They would spread political, religious and many different propagandas. And the craziest part, they still had an audience, which is insane. This drama happened very long time ago, while Nox still used his PNG form. And for those who don't know, basically this is what happened. He took a very special anime called Interspecies Reviewers, very cultured, very top tier anime, just and told his audience to go on the site My Anime List and to give it 10 out of 10 so it can become the most liked anime of all time. The main reason is because Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood fandom would downvote any anime that overcome them. And with this little trolling, Nox exposed a fatal flaw in this system. And My Anime List community reacted really badly to this situation. They tried to cancel him and the entire site was changed how it works, so it no longer accepted a mass reviewing like that. And this situation was simply hilarious because you see these people who praise the Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood as the best anime of the world, and then you see an anime of that caliber getting beat by an anime where 3 horny dudes go around and raid different brothels. It's such a hilarious situation, and I implore you to go and explore the rabbit hole yourself. Ah, the man himself, the most controversial drama VTuber ever to exist. This man spills so much bullshit that it is insane. Let me tell you about some claims he made. Kizuna AI is pregnant. Tsukishita Karo, I'm sorry I probably butchered his name, had a sexual relationship with Sakura Miko while also cheating on his wife. Sony is going to acquire Anycolor and Nijisanji and many other things. He would basically go on 4chan and 2chan and take the most insane takes and make the entire video about it. And both Hololive and also Anycolor would team up and absolutely delete him from existence because he tried to attack Oli and many different members. He was basically the VTuber equivalent of Keemstar. If you're not familiar with Nyaner's past life, she was basically very popular on 4chan. She was worshipped there, she was a star. And many people loved her because she fit the stereotype of being a girl shit poster on the internet. And she basically forced this lolly aesthetic, and especially her most infamous contribution to this community was the Pomf Pomf song. Please take a listen.
What's this sticky stuff on me? They play with me until I smell like salty coins and milk. Morning, everyone. Today we will have lots of fun. Ooh, goo, am I cute? In my favorite swimsuit. Half, wanna stay. Play the Papa Pirate game. Stop touching me. It's making me feel all funny. Nii-chan, I love you, but please stop smelling my pants too. Yay, play with me. You make me happy.
And after Nyaners escaped from 4chan and went to Tumblr, she changed, and right now she despises lolly content, which in the eyes of many people made her a hypocrite. But the fact that this song still haunts her to this day is absolutely hilarious. Nijisanji member called Lauren exposed his homework folder while being live, and the entire folder was filled with adult movies that were pirated. And for us, this situation would be absolutely hilarious, but the JP got really upset with this situation because JPs absolutely despise pirated content. So they tried to cancel him, but in the end nothing happened, thankfully, because the company who made those adult movies had an absolute right to sue him, but instead they made a fun of him and slightly teased him, together with few adult stars he followed. Mano Aloe is one of the saddest situations you can ever find in Hololive community. Basically what happened, she leaked her 2D live model accidentally, she said some things that Japanese found annoying, she was harassed, bullied, stalked and many other things, until she graduated because she couldn't handle the stress anymore. And this is terrible because if she stayed in Hololive, if she had a little more strength, she would find an incredible success. And this situation also tore Hololive community in two parts and caused a war between overseas bros and Japanese bros. If you want to hear entire story, there is an incredible video made by the Press No Sagi on this situation. Okay, you are probably not going to believe me this story, but let me tell you what happened. There is this certain website called Character AI Beta, and it is the best character AI chatting tool you're ever going to find. And it was incredible. It had no restrictions, you can talk with any person from any game, you can talk with any VTuber, with any cartoon character, with any celebrity, and the responses they gave were so good that it was incredible. It was almost like you were talking with a real person. But Somebody decided to have a chat with Fubuki's AI, where he basically had a sexual relationship with that AI. You know, the sexting thing. And the devs were so upset by this that they decided to absolutely ruin the entire website by adding a lot of filters, absolutely confusing the AI where the AI cannot even give a normal response, and if you try to talk about anything that is slightly not safe for work, the chat will immediately be detected and deleted. And sometimes doesn't even need to be a not safe for work. The chat will just delete it immediately. For example, hugs or kisses. But these devs are just being dumb. Every Hololive member is Yago in disguise, and this is not a theory, this is a fact. Hitomi Chris is basically what happens when you try to achieve success by using shortcuts. For those who don't know, Hitomi Chris was an ex-Hololive member who wanted to join the company, and there was this certain manager. And he basically told Chris that he can help her to get into the agency, but as compensation, he can sleep with her. And she will be somebody who he can just call from time to time whenever he feels horny, so they can have a sexual relationship. Not romantic, just a casual and physical one. And the worst part, Hitomi Chris was underage at the time, but she decided that this offer was too good to pass on and she accepted. And he basically gave her the streaming equipment and everything she needed, and when she joined the agency she stopped calling him and having relationships with him, and he doxed her, exposed all of her information, she was kicked from Hololive. The Hololive washed their hands of the entire situation by saying that this person doesn't belong to Hololive management. He got in prison, and after he came out, he did this to many different girls, and he even brags about it online. I mean, simply I don't know what to say, the entire situation is just crazy. There is a popular meme that goes around in the Vtuber rabbit hole that says that Vtubers who do handcam streams need to be careful because their faces might flash in a camera lens or a knife or surface or something and expose them. And this was just a meme, a concept for a very long time, but it actually happened to a Hololive member, that member being Oli, and she got so much backlash because people didn't like how she looked. I mean, bro, imagine bullying Oli. She's basically like the sweetest person in whole life. How can you bully Oli? I mean, come on. We appreciate Oli in this neighborhood. So, there is this Chinese VTuber called Poren, and basically she disappeared from her channel for 9 months. And when she returned, she said that main reason why she disappeared for such a long time was because she was kidnapped and forced to live with a woman, an older woman, as basically her slave. And this story broke the internet and exposed the Chinese darker side. Later, many Chinese people came out and claimed that this was fake, but knowing how China reacts to these types of situation, I am more inclined to believe her. I am going to try to be as vague as possible when it comes to discussing this situation because I don't want Vshojo to come after me. So listen carefully. There is, or maybe there is not, a certain Vshojo member called Fruit that did or maybe did not cheat on her husband who was deployed in a military. And there is, or maybe there isn't, a lot of evidence to prove this. And of course, I am not saying that you should go and find this information for yourself, but you should not trust me, because I may be potentially lying, you know. It's always better to double check, just in case. Forbidden knowledge is a term used to discuss Faces, age, past life, and many different personal information when it comes to VTubers. This information is highly classified and needs to be taken with care. Basically, after the Taiwan incident, there was a new Chinese law. Any VTuber that streams from China has to have their information given to the Chinese government, which basically means that if you say anything against China or Chinese government, the government can dox you. And this was terrifying for many VTubers at the time, so a lot of them started streaming on YouTube to protect themselves. But there was also a huge backlash from their fans in order to stay. And if you're wondering, this law is still active. Long time ago, there was this Team Fortress 2 content creator called Sketchik, and he was a legendary pyro player that everybody in the community respected. The way he played the game was simply legendary, but one day something happened. He went on his social media and on his video and mentioned how he has some sort of incurable disease. And he didn't want to specify what kind of disease it is, but it took community by storm. The community couldn't take this news very well because just a few months later another very popular content creator unfortunately died. So to hear that somebody like Sketchik is also going to disappear was very hard for community to accept, but eventually he just stopped uploading. And the community proclaimed him dead. Many videos from many popular content creators in Team Fortress 2 community came out to pay their tributes and their respects. And there was even an item created by the devs, an X in his memory. But he actually didn't die. This was just a lie. He got bored of content creation and he wanted to, in his words, go with a bang. And after he returned, his community for once was not mad. They were just sad and really disappointed. I would recommend you watch Sunny V2 video on this topic. But there's some very interesting information. There are some evidence which are very interesting. Basically, some people say that Sketchik became a VTuber and then he joined a certain agency. If you want to know more, go and research it for yourself. But if you manage to find it, do not mention it in his streams. Please be respectful, because we don't want to mention past lives to VTubers. Okay, so I was browsing 4chan the other day and I found this very strange theory. Basically, this theory says that Hex Haywire, the Nijisanji member, is actually Corp's husband in disguise. And the main thing they use to confirm this theory is his voice. Now, this theory existed way back, but it started brewing right now because Hex said in one of his videos that he has a GERD. Basically a very rare disease where a person's stomach acid comes into their esophagus and it burns. And also it makes the voice deeper. So people immediately were like, "Oh my god, Corp's husband? Oh my god, Hex Haywire is Corp's husband confirmed?" I really didn't think that this theory could got any stupider, but yeah. You want to hear another stupid theory that 4chan users like to mention from time to time? Well, Iron Mouse is faking her conditions for views. I mean, come on, brother, really? Why? Basically, they said that if she really had this terrible disease, then how is she able to stream? And it's really just a bunch of haters having no brain. Let me ask you this. Who is the most popular VTuber in the world? You're probably going to say somebody like Gura or Pecora, but that is simply not true. What if I tell you that there is a VTuber with 19.4 million subscribers. Her name is Cookie Swirl C. At least I hope that is how it's pronounced. She was basically a content creator that used to make, toy videos for kids and things like that. But right now she has a VTuber model and she makes a content for children. And unlike many other kids channels who are very creepy, she's actually pretty entertaining and interesting. She doesn't talk back to her audience, she doesn't treat them like they're stupid or something. And it's cool to see somebody pushing like VTuber genre to a mainstream audience. She's cool in my opinion. Have you ever heard of ElsaGate phenomenon? If you haven't, it's basically very creepy children's videos on YouTube. Most of them are either sexual or very, very creepy, and most of them are predatory in nature. Featuring two very popular characters, those being Spider-Man and Elsa, two most popular characters for boys and girls at the time. But these kids' channels started using names from Nijisanji members, for example Alban, and putting his character inside these very, very strange and creepy animations for kids. And Nijisanji basically made a statement that they are going to fight these videos. So let's see what is going to happen next. Taiga is a popular VTuber who was accused of many horrible things. For example, being a P-word, being toxic, being abusive to minors and many other disgusting things. But all of this was actually fabricated by his mods and one person who was spreading all of this misinformation. There is basically a stalker who was stalking Taiga for a very long time. He claimed that he was a millionaire and he actually spent $500,000 in donations. Then he flew from France to Canada to continue to stalk Taiga. But eventually there was a private investigator who came, did full investigation and basically proved everything false. But this is just a summary. You should go and watch the entire situation unfold, because it's very interesting. And basically that is the best example of toxic cancel culture. And that is it when it comes to this tier list. If you stayed until the end, then I sincerely thank you. And if you liked this video, may I humble you for a like and subscribe, please. And of course, if you have any ideas on particular topic that you want me to discuss, please leave it in the comments. Until next time, see you and take care.